Manchester United over the last 10, 11 years have sort of accepted a position whereby they've made mistakes in the transfer market, or they've made mistakes in recruitment, or they've held on to players too long. It would seem that, to be fair, what's happening now is that Ruben Amorim is identifying players he does not want in the squad, and to be fair, he's moving them out of the squad. That's a positive. The second thing is, I do like, on paper, the signings of Cunha and Mbeumo. Why do I like them? A couple of reasons. Well, three actually. One is that they've got Premier League experience.
We'll get back to Gary in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And as ever, if something is on your mind, if something is bubbling up inside of you that you need to express, please express it in the comments. The Big D reads all of the comments, and he's always interested in what is on your mind. Anyway, in this clip, Gary Neville gives his brutally honest opinion about the two signings Manchester United have made in Cunha and Mbeumo. And stick around for after the clip, because Big D is going to be giving his thoughts on Manchester United's recruitment policy so far. Anyway, here's Gary.
One is that they look more like Manchester United styles of players, with a bit more pace and power and the ability to have that sort of physicality to be able to get from box to box quickly. I think when you look at particularly Garnacho, Sancho, Anthony, they're more jinkers, I call them, more people who sort of work in tight spaces. I've always felt at United you need players that can open the legs up and really sort of stretch teams, and I think Cunha and Mbeumo do that. And then the other thing I like about those two signings is that they've not proved themselves at the highest level yet in the game, in respect of at Premier League club level or European club level. So they should be really desperate and hungry to prove themselves on a huge stage, which is Old Trafford. And that hunger hasn't always been there in the last 10 years with players that have come to the club. They've come maybe where they've been the more finished article and we've got excited by them, but maybe they've come and maybe not had that desperation. I always feel like a player needs hunger. They need desperation in the game to feel that it's the most important thing. I think these two lads that have signed will have that. So I think the two signings are good signings yet. There's a couple more needed. I think they need a goalkeeper. They need a centre forward. And I think if they can fill those two positions with decent signings, then United can have a lot. I mean, they have to have a better season than last year. It can't get any worse.
For once, I agree with Gary Neville there. He's made some very good points in that, those two players there, they are Premier League proven, and they haven't quite sort of stepped up to the main stage, so to speak. So they'll be desperate to prove themselves as top-level players. And that is actually what Alex Ferguson used to do. It's very rare would he buy a Galactico. He would always buy a player that was on the cusp of Galactico status, like Wayne Rooney, for instance, or a Roy Keane, or a Rio Ferdinand, or a Ruud van Nistelrooy. Seldom did he buy a Galactico. I'm just trying to think, what Galacticos did he buy? I mean, he did buy a couple. He bought one Sebastian Veron, who you could class as being a Galactico when we bought him. But I think that's about it, There must have been someone else. You could argue that Fabian Barthez was probably a Galactico when we bought him as well, because he was already a World Cup winner and a Champions League winner too. Big name, big personality, that kind of thing. Laurent Blanc, although he was kind of past it. But still, I mean, most of Alex Ferguson's big name signings, they were always players that were hungry, they were on the cusp of something great, and they were motivated to prove themselves at the elite level. So, yeah, that does seem to be where we are going with these two signings. I mean, I'm actually kind of getting a little bit excited with the way Manchester United are going at the moment with some of these players. But with regards to getting a centre forward and a goalkeeper, I think the goalkeeper is the more pressing position right now. Now that we've got Cunha and we've got an Mbeumo, I don't think we need a number 9. I think we should work with Rasmus Højlund, because if we show a little bit of faith with Rasmus Højlund in this new system, and we've got a couple of players there to support him, then he could quite easily get 15 goals in the league. Quite easily. I mean, he got 15 goals in all competitions a couple of years back when we were even worse. So there's no reason why we can't do the same with him, this coming season. But we need a top-level goalkeeper. Alex Ferguson used to say that. Well, he used to say that strikers win your matches, but defences win your titles. And I mean, Peter Schmeichel was a defence all on his own. It's almost as if with Peter Schmeichel, Man United used to play 4-4-4-2. So if we can get a goalkeeper with that kind of presence, which Donnarumma is, then that would boost the confidence of the defence, which would in turn boost the confidence of the midfield, which would then in turn boost the confidence of the attack, and then we could maybe soar up the table. But hey ho, that's the Big D's opinion. What do you think? What do you think of Mbeumo and Cunha? Do you think we need a goalkeeper and a centre forward, or one or the other? Maybe you think we need someone else in a different position, maybe a central midfielder or a wing back. Thoughts in the comments, and the Big D will see you in the next one.